The opportunity to get long this asset may still be present, but not for too long. The broader markets faced a very tough day today, applying downside pressure to most risk assets. There could be a broader market recovery, which could send ASRE on its upside path once again. Let's validate. Welcome back to the channel on this Hump Day Wednesday. This is ARCa. Let's dive into ticker symbol ASRE. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. Let's go ahead and dive right in to ticker symbol ASRE. Sorry, I don't understand why I had that up there. All right, yes. So let's go ahead and look at ticker symbol ASRE. So very, very interesting day today as the SPY and broader markets in general showed, immense weakness, right? Which applied downside pressure on the Magnificent Seven, specifically NVIDIA and Apple, and most of the risk assets, right? So what I can say is that it's a very nice thing to get downside pressure like that, because it essentially uplifts volatility, which is something that we absolutely encourage within the risk assets that we are risk on, right? So we got the 5-day closure today, and honestly, not the best closure in the world, but still way upside of the demand from the previous 5-day iteration, right? That 5-day previous candle started at around 29.9. Let's see, opening was actually 30 cents, and you can see that the opening of this candle was opening of 43 cents. So obviously there is demand still for the asset, right? And still, we can actually observe the accumulation versus distribution, and you can see that there's very little selling and just so much accumulation here, right? So this is not showing any signs of distribution just yet. In fact, I still see an upside coming in for ASRE, statistically speaking, and those targets you're already aware of, right? So I am speaking of the 50-44 target in particular, and that's a target that we can observe right over here, right? So the 50-44 target is just to remind the current viewers and also our new viewers that there is a statistical upside to be observed, which is ending at about 50-44. So that's calculated using a 5-day backtest here from critical contraction to expansion, right? So on my, I have all those things here, right? So this is the sample set here. And let's just go ahead and show the visibility. There we go. So yeah, these are all the back tests. Anytime that volatility has contracted into the critical volatility zone here in contraction, which is within the 15th percentile, and when it starts to expand, I pair that with stochastic momentum for an upside read. And these samples have given us this data set right over here, right? So you're looking at a 435% upside thrust. That's your mean, right? So, and I understand that we have 7 out of 7 iterations giving us an upside accuracy of 100%. I get that, right? The problem here is that we don't have that much data to go off of, right? The asset hasn't been trading all too long. It's been trading since 2005, and the 5-day backtest, it's kind of a macro time frame. So this is why we don't have so much iteration, but it's okay. It's no problem at all. I have calculated the standard deviation from that mean, and we are looking at a standard deviation, aka 68% of the results, if you are familiar with statistics and the bell curve, right? So 68% of the results are landing within, 875 spots, 17%. And I have calculated the upper bound and lower bound of the standard deviation. Lower bound is actually an unusable metric since it came out with a negative value. And now the upper bound of the first standard deviation has a very curious 1,311.05% move to the upside, and that would be located right here within the bell curve. So that is actually showing us that there is a statistical probability that the asset can reach a target that's very confluent with the 2.618. Almost actually directly confluent with it from the firing of the signal, which did happen back here on this candle, which was the week of July 19th this year, right? So that was when the volatility component and the moving average moved upside of the 15 percentile, and that's the firing of the signal itself. And the asset has moved to the upside, very close to that 435%. 435. Remember the standard deviation. I'm sorry, the mean, right? That mean is close to getting resolved here at 50.44. But yeah, the 875% to the upside is actually leading to a target confluent to the 2.272 Fibonacci ratio at 92 cents. And then the 1300% would be at 131. Now that range of the 131 is 131 to 167. So that's just to put the statistics into play, and the asset is in fact still within that upward bound. Right, so let me just go ahead and adjust the stochastic momentum 3-day exponential moving average to a period of 1 for 1 day, so we can get a faster look back, and a smoothing factor of 1, right? And okay, so this is the first time that I'm actually seeing that there is a slight pivot towards the downside, right? But as long as volatility is still under the 90 percentile of expansion and above the 15 percentile of contraction, the move is still on, right? There's going to be ebb and flow along that way up, but yeah, I do see this as still playing out the statistical move. It is a 5-day time frame, right? So it's going to take some time for it to really fulfill here, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and see what we have. Okay, so yeah, we got this bi-daily closure, right? So as you can see here, we came up. This is the Gaussian channel, right? So we reclaimed the inside of the channel. We tested the resistance of the mean band. We broke outside of the mean band and started testing that support, right? As soon as we got a clear support grab, we moved on to the upside and then came back to validate that breakout from the Gaussian channel, right? So you can see here that we came right back down, straight to that, right to that penny, 27.51 bottom side, and then faced a very nice upside impulsive move from there. Now, the resistance that we're finding right now, though, why would that be? Well, it's actually very simple to answer. First of all, before we answer that, notice that we're getting the green bar here for the first time since, this has been, it hasn't been green since November of 2022. So, we're just a few months shy of a year here, right? That this has been red, and we're starting to get that color change right now. So that's absolutely bullish for the asset, and I love it. But yeah, so to answer the question about that resistance touch, not only is it that there is a margin call at 45 cents, but also this. Check this out. If we move on to the 3-day time frame, take a look at that right there. Perfect touch of the 45.50 right at the resistance level of the 3-day Gaussian band. And this is showing us that we are knocking at the door of that resistance level, and we're getting ready for a macro breakout. Okay, so you can see here that we broke inside of the channel, right? Validated the support, broke into that, within the upper 15% of the Gaussian bands, and started validating the support, got a clear grab and bounced to the upside. And now we're resisting at that top side of the band. Okay, so historically speaking, yeah, we've used that mean band as a bounce to the upside for some pretty parabolic bounces, right? And I do like what we're seeing here, right? So here's another example, right? Breakout, test, and then break out of the channel itself, right? So we've done this very often in the past, and it looks like we're in the process of just that here on the 3-day time frame. So I find this highly likely for it to start testing that area of around 45.50 soon enough here. And I think that the broader markets will agree with that, as the SPY is actually playing a potential ABCD strategy here, a very, very traditional way to look at price action, right? So what you're seeing here is just this, right? Let me go ahead and show you. So this is X right here. This would be your A, right? We'll just mark it off like that. This is your B, and then this is your C right over here. And then now it looks like price action would be getting ready to make its D, take profit, right? So yeah, very traditional strategy, amongst one of the earliest strategies, and also a very popular one for its ease of use. So, yeah, if this is the case, then today in the actually, it was very clear today that we would get this bottom side here, 443.95. We were observing this together live during the stream. So if you are available, come by 6:30 to 6:40 a.m. Pacific time. I am streaming live, right? Literal day trading. So here is a very nice hammer candle, right? So let's go ahead and just block this visibility out. So yeah, we got a huge downside here. We got a hammer candle printed, and this candle here would essentially be the candle to validate a continuation to the upside. I mean, it shows that the bulls are still kind of in control here, right? So I'm liking what I'm seeing here with the SPY, and since we are reclaiming the inside of that channel, then this gives us the opportunity to potentially observe a pretty nice move to the upside. And one that can lead upwards of, I mean, we would combat the 453.51 to 54.16 resistance right up here. I do think that there is a probability here that we can make an upside of that, but we're going to have to validate this as we go. And this would have to do a lot. This would actually have a lot to do with what ASRE will do as well. So you can see here that the minimum time frame I would look at for upside trend, especially for a swing play, it would be on the 4-hour time frame. And look at this, we're getting an upside pivot here without smoothing out the factor into one or the EMA into a 1-day look back. So this is a traditional setup on that stochastic, and it just has a natural upside with increasing volatility. This is absolutely a setup, right? So now one more thing that we can add is actually the directional movement index and see if there's some type of movement. Okay, so there is curvature happening here, which means that DMI plus is going to start making its way up to cross upside of DMI minus. And we're currently sitting at 14% ADX. So yeah, I think I see this as a potential corrective move and a potential mean reversion. So let's see what that mean reversion is telling us. Okay, so yeah, mean reversion happening from the bottom side of the bands right now. We reclaimed the inside of the Bollinger Bands, right? So this is indicating a potential top side of around 449.83 and a top side of guess where? Right where we said that we would start combating this resistance zone at 453.51 to 454.16. So everything is rhyming pretty nicely here, and ASRE should be reflective of that as well. Okay, so if we are to face, just by the way, if we are to face a continuation to the upside, it would be in respects to the 3-day, but something tells me we are already facing that support and potential bounce here within the 2-day time frame. Okay, so if this is going to present an opportunity to get long here, then I would actually have to stress on a couple targets. Okay, so 40.51 being one of them, and then the bottom side of our range here would be at 39.68. And of course, we can always observe the very bottom side of this range here, which could be, actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll make it a range. The bottom side of this candle here, low of 38 cents. And I'm noticing here that I'm not wearing my glasses. I'm still reading it. Nice. Okay, so yeah, it says 38.05, but honestly, the candle does read 38 flat. And we would use the top side of this candle here, the opening of this candle here. So 38.51 to 38.05 looks like that support grab in case the 3-day does get realized, right? But something is telling me that that upside is actually, I'm sorry, that downside already happened today. And this is that bounce that we got to the upside, right? So looking very good for ASRE, and still I am honoring the upside targets that I've been observing for the last couple weeks here while charting out this ticker. So I think everything is looking still pretty good. And the upside is a higher likelihood than the downside here. Bi-monthly bullish engulfing printed, which is a bullish buy formation paired with a hammer candle here after a downtrend. So the probabilities here are still to the upside, right? So immediate short-term resistance on that 30-minute time frame here. This appears to me as consolidation, right? So it's bouncing. The RSI signal is bouncing from the gravitational zone of the bear weakness bear weakness. It bounces up to the gravitational zone of the bull weakness, and then it rejects again. So this is all consolidation for me, and it looks like that's the case on a lot of the immediate short-term time frames, right? So in particular, the 30-minute, the bi-hourly, the 4-hour, and the 8-hour here. So now as you start to jump into the 12-hour, this is where you start to get that downside. And this is where I'm saying that we could potentially be at a floor right now based on what's happening here with the buy daily, right? Yes, it's crossing below it, which is bearish, but I'm not sure that we have enough juice to get down this low from the 3-day time frame, considering all of the good news that's coming out for ticker symbol ASRE. Okay, so I would be very careful if you are playing short this play. I'm not a financial advisor, but I wouldn't, as this is potentially facing some explosive price action, and that's statistically speaking, right? So not only that, is we also have two macro time frame 5-day drives of actually one drive of hidden bullish divergence and one regular drive of bullish divergence, and it is confirmed here on the 5-day time frame. So those are still playing out. And yeah, just goes along with more of the whole thing of just be careful if you are going to play short this asset. That could introduce some serious losses. Okay, team. Yeah, please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything would be absolutely cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios. Yeah.